переключусь на англійську і надам слово нашому гостьовому професору. Тож у нас продовжується цикл лекцій закордонних партнерів нашого університету. Попередньо було від професора з Сербії. Я не всю слухав, чесно, але чув, що вибрати гарні, запитань було багато. І вона була цікава, там було про саме тяжні, нетяжні елементи. Сьогодні ще більш мені здається цікава лекція від професора Марко Касагранде в Фінляндії. На краще є світ. Окей, у нього дуже цікава, принаймні, те, що ми дивилися його матеріали, напрацювання по, скажімо, модульній архітектурі, яка розуміє, я зовсім не архітектор. Я впевнений, що це цікаво як архітекторам та будівельникам всіх рівнях. До того, не знаю, чи ми всі прекрасно. Все, тоді лекція буде винятково англійською мовою. Бачите, як це субтитри є. Автоматичні вимкнення, вони не завжди коректні, тим не менше. Ми домовилися з професором Casagrande, що він хвилин 40-50 викладає свій матеріал, далі сесія запитань і відповідей. І потім Мирослава Олегівна ще є буквально на 5 хвилин коротких повідомлень. Тому я вас дуже прошу, для того, щоб ви далі могли, як цього професора, так і інших запрошувати, задайте хоча б кілька запитань англійською. Щось є мій колега Валентин, зможе перекласти, але бажано, звичайно, що хтось з вас англійською. Це буде цікаво, приємно. Лектору веселіше, коли він не просто відчитав, а йому щось задали питання. Так, зворотній зв'язок. Okay, now I turn to English. I give a floor to Professor Marco Casagrande. We were really delighted to give you the status of visiting professor at our university. I think, yeah, thank you for that. And I think it's just a start, the beginning of something bigger, let's say. And yeah, now I give a floor to you on skin-to-skin architecture.
Thank you. I will share my screen. Are you able to see the screen now?
Yeah.
How about the slides? Are they changing?
No yet.
Not yet? Midalatus katsoa. Are they changing now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, something. Okay. But anyhow, greetings from Finland. My name is Marco Kасagranде. I'm an architect and a professor of architecture. I will give you maybe 1 hour lecture or presentation of different works related to a theme on skin-to-skin architecture. So I'm based in Finland, or our office is based in Finland, but we work in different countries, more or less 20 countries around the world, and have been realizing around 100 works so far, and continuously doing academic works in different scales and different themes and topics, mixing quite often architecture with other disciplines of art and science, like urbanism, environmental art, social sciences, and so forth. The work has been awarded by UNESCO Global Award for Sustainable Architecture. We have received the European Prize of Architecture and little bit of this and that, but like what comes to the work, so this UNESCO prize is important for us because we are continuously now working with United Nations on different levels. The works have been selected 5 times to Venice Architecture Biennale and dozens of international exhibitions in different countries. But I will start with this. So this work is realized in East Finland, very close to the Russian border, and it's called Landscape. It's commenting on the desertation process of Finnish countryside. In my works, local knowledge is important. And in this case, when the farmers are moving to the cities of the south, they are forgetting or abandoning cultures and local knowledges which have been developed during hundreds of years or even more, maybe thousands of years. So I wanted to comment on that by taking 3 abandoned barn houses and building legs for them so that they can walk after the farmers to the cities of the south. There is one of the barn houses, and also the field was abandoned already. The farmer had just disappeared. Very simple structure, 2x4 framework, and then pine tree trunks upside down, and then in the end, lift the barn house on top as a hat. But this is like a free span is 10 meters, more or less. And then we thought that we need to find a way how to give this humble architecture possibility to speak out loud. So we set an advertisement to a local newspaper saying that there is a free sausage and vodka. So 6,000 people came. And then together with a contemporary dancer, choreographer called Reijo Kela, we made a choreography and in the end set the whole thing on fire. So we burned this whole installation. And of course, like we could not predict how people would react because in some sense it is can be considered as a violent act to burn houses or like this kind of thing. But normal people are fantastic. They formed a circular ring around the burning barn houses, and some were crying and some were predicting future. A very shamanistic feeling in the end with this heat coming from the barn houses. And then these photos and pictures and documentation started to appear in newspapers, and then they crossed the borders to different countries and to architectural review and so on. And then this issue of the desertation process of Finnish countryside had a possibility to speak out loud, and it was taken into consideration more seriously. Then following that, Massimiliano Fuksas, he was the director of the Venice Biennale. So he called us and said that he wants something like this burning barn houses, something to comment on the theme of the Biennale, which was Città, less aesthetics, more ethics, somehow to discuss the urban problematics. What I wanted to do is to have a boat, a ship, and put a forest into the ship, and then sail with the forest from Finland to Venice. But like my friends told me that some biologists that it's not a good idea, that your trees will die on the way, that you have to find the trees around Venice in the same climate belt. So then maybe yes. So then we were hunting for a boat in the Laguna area of Venezia and found this abandoned barge called Topo Gigio, and then start to think about putting the forest inside there and what kind of soil it needs and how it will survive. So with this, all the materials are recycled or borrowed. Even the boat was abandoned. We took it ashore and make it waterproof again and use it as a space for the installation. But like in this work, like when we were constructing it, we thought that it's not personal enough, that we have to find a way how to get closer to people and more intimate in a way. So we thought that what happens in Venice when you flush a toilet? Where does everything go? Because it's an island. And like then we start to track down the sewage systems of Venice, and everything collects into one huge pipe called Biocomp. And like then we asked this director of Biocomp that how much annually does Venice produce human waste? So he say 67 cubic, sorry, first he gave us a big number, that this is the annual number. But it was so huge, the number, that I couldn't understand. It was abstract. So I asked like how much in 1 hour? 60 minutes. So he say 67 cubic meters. He said, okay, this I can understand, that can I have it? And he said, yeah. So then this we take this 60 minutes worth of human waste, we biologically clean it and composted it, and then put it into the boat. So that's under the white stones. Like when you are approaching the boat itself, there is this organic growth and industrial degeneration. But in the last room, there's no trees anymore. It's just a marble stone in the corner saying that this park has been planted on 60 minutes worth of human waste produced by the city of Venice. This is the material now, the compost in, yeah. And these are landscape architecture students. So quite often in our work, we are mixing also what comes to students. So like mixed groups of landscape architects, urbanists, social science, sociologists, and so forth, engineers, of course. And then in the end, when the boat was ready, we built it 50 kilometers south of Venice. So then in the end, we sail with the boat to the Arsenale harbor and open it as a public park. The work was chosen by New York Times as the best project in Venice Biennale. Then this is different. Again, floating architecture, yes, but a very different scale. But also very sensitive what comes to, if you think of skin-to-skin architecture, how to think of architecture as a kind of like either external skin of a human, or how our skins and architectural skins are meeting or communicating. So this is a floating sauna in a small village in Norway called Rosendal. So here it is. It's in the end of a fjord called Hardanger Fjord. And like we built this together with students. So you go there with swimming or with a rowing boat, and then like start enjoying it. All the village can see this. There are terraced houses on the mountain, so this is like a focus point. They can look at it. And nighttime it turns into like a lantern. The walls are semi-transparent, so you can see people when they are enjoying the sauna, but maybe not too detailed. And the floor is water. So when you are up on the benches, with good luck, maybe 80 degrees. But then you can jump straight to the ocean. And in here too, like this feeling, like of course it is a space, and even bioclimatic space, very biological space, the heat. But then how the ocean is moving the structure, so it gives another dimension, and also connecting it to like a bigger circulations. So here too, this is like a feeling of a skin or skin of architecture is important. It's an improvised stove with some stones inside. And this is the water, like the floor. also a skin. Then a different project. This is from Japan, a province called Niigata, rice farming people, and we were invited there, but it was so beautiful. I thought that we cannot do anything, that it's like this rice farming has been continuing for hundreds of years, and it was so balanced with nature. But then again, in the end, we found out that there was this like a small illegal garbage dump next to a river. So that we thought that, okay, maybe this is the site that we can somehow reorganize the garbage dump. So here we can operate. This is the valley next to the Kamagawa River, rice fields. Here you see the rice fields terraced, rice paddies, and in the end, the last one is us. It's following this texture of the rice fields, but the last one which we build is of steel. So the work is called Potemkin, Park for a Post-Industrial Meditation, and like the walls, they stay leveled, but the ground is descending. So the deeper you go into the park, the higher the walls will become. And also here, everything is recycled industrial waste. So this is kind of an industrial Zen garden. Following like how the Japanese or Oriental stone gardens are made, like the methodologies, but the natural elements are pretty much replaced by industrial ones. Actually, this is just garbage, but very articulated. So it's a articulated junkyard in a way, or a temple. From a different angle, the walls are 2.5 centimeters thick, so one inch thick walls from leftover pieces from Kawasaki shipping industry. But this also, we spent here maybe 6 weeks and with 15 guys and build it. But this is a very small village, so all the village can sit on these benches. They're old people, young people have moved to the cities, and like, but yeah. And in the end, the walls, when you are deep in the park, so the walls are pretty high, maybe 5-6 meters high, and then they turn around and become an interior space. And the interior space is focused down to the valley, where is the river, Kamagawa River. There are fishes called ayu, so you can go and do some fishing, get your ayu, come here, make a fire, eat your fish and go to sleep. Sleeping is a meditation that we all do. And very different project now. This is from Taipei, Taiwan. The place is called Treasure Hill. It's an illegal settlement. People have built it by themselves, and there is no building code that officially don't exist. Some would say maybe a slum, but like I respect this place. So the Taipei city government was destroying it, and so they had already managed to bulldoze away the first 3 layers of the terraced settlement. But because there is no streets inside, so the machines could not get in. So they just destroy the connections between houses, little bridges and steps, so that the houses would stay isolated instead of being like a collective organism. And when they stay isolated and the nervous network between the houses is destroyed, so then it will slowly die. So yeah, when I entered, there was around 400 households, 400 families living there. And I was researching and studying this place, and I found out that actually this illegal settlement is ecologically much more sustainable than the surrounding city. That in here they were very careful how to compose their organic waste, recycle. They were filtering their gray waters with patches of jungle, oxygenizing it with the roots and then use it on the farms. It was an urban farming community as well. They were stealing water and electricity from the official city, but not too much, just a little. So, and they didn't consume much at all. So I reversed this destruction process from the official city, because there is a very fine line between destruction and construction. You don't need to be like total. If you are a little bit towards destruction, in the end of the day, you will die. But if you are a little bit towards the construction, don't need to be total, but a little bit, you will move on. So here too, I had to like tune this from the destruction to construction and then start the rebuilding process. First with the farms, because the city had destroyed their farms. So I rebuilt the farms, then I rebuilt the connections between the houses, the different steps and the bridges and so forth. Here's the farm, is starting. Some connections between houses. Wood is the fastest way of dealing with architecture. So using wood, in this case, I didn't have much time. Like this guy could not even get home. But in the end, yeah, the city like make this legal, because there were so many rumors going on and so many people were volunteering to actually work on here, 200 students. So like the pressure towards the city was coming too much, and they make it legal in the end, and then these people could stay. The window. So here too I learned a lot, because the nature in Taiwan was so fast compared to Finland. It's amazing. So I understood that I can consider nature as like an architectural player. I can co-design with nature, and that's important. So this Treasure Hill is a ruin, and for me, ruin is like a big thing, like a constructive thing. I respect ruins, because a ruin is something man-made that has become part of nature, and that's a very high level of architecture. Or a city. If a city can learn to become part of nature, that's respectable. So like what comes to these cities and the development, I have simplified it to me so that there is actually only 3 generations. Like the first generation city is city because of nature. So you are there because you have a river, fresh water, then you have resources for construction, you have ways for transportation. So you are on this site because of nature originally. And the second generation city is the industrial city. Industrial city is very young, but also very destructive. So the industrialism has this fiction of claiming independence from nature. And that kind of a fiction is the starting point of all pollution. And this is like what the time and place what we are thinking now. Like because our cities have become kind of like anti-acupuncture needles in the life-providing tissue of nature. But then again, that raises a question that what is the third generation city? Like what is this organic machine? Or how can the industrial city learn to become part of nature? And that's interesting. What is this organic ruin of industrial city? The third generation city. So in Treasure Hill, Treasure Hill is matriarchal. So I have found out that in many of these like urban farming communities or illegal settlements, even collective gardens, community gardens, and so they are quite often matriarchal. It's some kind of grandmothers who are like running the show. City is a very patriarchal system, but these places which are really touching the original ground, quite often matriarchal. This is Mrs. Chen, the queen of Treasure Hill, 86 years old. So then we were like interviewing her, and because like in one lifetime she remembers how the city developed from the first generation to the industrial city and how it got polluted and how the river got polluted and so on. So that's not a fiction for her, but it's just one lifetime. So we interview her, and for me she became like a professor of local knowledge. And then we start finding out other professors of local knowledge, like fishermen or maybe some old taxi driver, and who really know the city. And then we start interviewing and get data from them. And then how to deal with this data of local knowledge. So we set up our own research center called Ruin Academy. And this is in the center of Taipei city. So 5 floors high apartment building, which it was abandoned, so we occupy it. And then we start knocking down all the secondary structures, all the interior walls, windows, everything, so that there's only the primary structure is left. And then we start drilling holes through the whole building, start from the roof and all the way down, so that it can rain inside. Because if you have water, you have topsoil and you have light, so then things can start growing. So we ruin this building deliberately. We design a ruin and then we ruin it. These are the holes, diameter 15 centimeters. Basement, we blow open the basement to find the original ground so that we can grow trees. Some bed on the wheels, so if it is raining straight on top of you, you can roll to some more dry corner. Researchers and students, they work there, but they also live there. Some of their farms, so they are gardening inside. Food. And this is a model because this is in the middle of the city, so we need to communicate with the neighbors to explain or try to explain what we try to do. And it's useless to go to normal people with architectural drawings, so model is the best thing. So we have a very big model, and then we try to explain this is what we try to do. And then they understand, and okay, we protect you, or we allow you to do this. It's the real thing. Some fire going on the 4th floor. And sauna. This is the 5th floor, public sauna for the Ruin Academy and the neighbors. Sauna inside. Skin to skin architecture, this too. But this is interesting. So here is a little tree who is growing on the wall of the Ruin Academy. And I've been following this tree since 2010, and it has not grown an inch. It stayed the same. So it's an urban bonsai. It knows that this is the existence maximum. Like not one more leaf, like this is it. It knows exactly how much topsoil is coming with the wind and with the rains. How are the typhoons and storms, and it stays here. And then if you go around the corner, so here's another tree, same species, but this is 5 floors high, like totally different scale. And the roots are not touching ground. So we get really interested and curious, like what is happening? Where are the roots going? So we ask a structural engineer with a scanning device that where are the roots going? And so he comes back after a couple of days and explains that the tree has actually 2 sets of roots. Like one set of roots go to the slabs, concrete slabs between different floors. And the tree is using the the house as a primary structure. And the second set of roots is going to the water and sewage system of the house. So this tree knows exactly how much people are flushing the toilet, and it's like living from that energy. So this tree would not be here without architecture, and it would not survive without people. So it's like a symbiosis in a way. And then some of the residents asked the structural engineer that, okay, now you know where the roots are going, so we want this tree to go away, so kill it. And then this engineer said that that's not a good idea, because these roots that have gone to the structure of the house, so if you kill the tree, the roots will start shrinking, and maybe the whole house comes down. So the tree must be here, and that's good. So this is the third generation condition, where the house has already become part of nature. And of course, nature works like in similar way in all different scales. The only rule of nature is maximal production of life. And like the only thing what nature wants from a city is actually the city to become part of nature, nothing else. And this is what normal people are doing. So the pink building is Taipei World Trade Center. And this green spot here is the most expensive land in Taipei City. 3 banks have been fighting for it, like for some decades. And but none of them has gained control. It's too expensive. So the anarchist grandmothers, they have occupied the place and turned it into a community garden. And they've been farming there for I don't know, 20, 30 years now. And that's a big culture. So in these containers, the kids are coming from the school. The children go to the containers and do their homework. And then they have to help the grandmothers to carry water to the farms. Of course, they learn farming too. But yeah, so this is actually a point of acupuncture, point of urban acupuncture, where normal people are penetrating through the very thin layers, industrial layers of the official city, concrete and asphalt, to touch the original ground or local knowledge. And in this case, it has turned to become a community garden. And this is an actual map of urban acupuncture. So here are all different community gardens and urban farms, illegal settlements, all kind of do-it-yourself community actions in Taipei Basin or Taipei City. And these are totally unofficial. It's done by people. And by doing this, the people are tuning the city, the whole city, towards the organic. So actually people are ruining the city. And they are kind of like forcing it towards the third generation. I think it's interesting, because official city is the polluting city. This is Taipei Basin, around 7 million people. 2 rivers, 2, 3 rivers, very fertile land. And the official solution, how to live in connection with nature. So from 1960s onwards, there's been a wall, 12-meter high, reinforced concrete wall, separating people and nature. So absolutely no connection. Then some images of a different ruin academy. This is in South Taiwan, place called Taidong, and it's in an abandoned Japanese sugar factory. So with this sugar factory, because it was out of duty, it had been operating for 90 years. It's from 1906. And then they closed it, and then it was just standing there. So together with local people who are actually Aboriginal people from a tribe called Amish, Polynesian people, we were discussing how to turn this machine into an organic machine, how to turn it into jungle, which produces food. So, and well, the Aboriginal people, the indigenous people, they knew like what kind of plants take from the mountains and from the jungle, and how to put it there, and how much water it needs, and how much this and that. Of course, we need to break the roof too. So some of the rain is coming straight inside, but mostly we are collecting water to these big yellow tanks. But you need to open this human control or industrial control in order for nature to step in. So insects, birds, they all need to find in. Here is the water collection tanks, baby jungle growing, some volunteers for this work. So here are some topics of what we've been researching with the Ruin Academies so far. Illegal architecture, urban acupuncture, river urbanism, urban nomad, organic machine, parasite urbanism. And these are topics what normal people are actually telling us, or how they are operating. So they are not really our architectural theories, but this is what normal people do. Then a little bit more about local knowledge, or insect architecture, let's say so. So this is from South China in Shenzhen. All these Chinese cities are built by migrating workers, and the migrating workers come from countryside. And of course, if you come from countryside, so then you have local knowledge too. So we wanted to ask them, like, what can they really build instead of those skyscrapers? And this bunch of people, they came from a province called Guangxi. So they say that they can do anything with bamboo. And okay, then we asked like what they need, and they say that maybe some sort of a place to play guitar and sing karaoke, kind of a club. It's okay. And then we start like sketching this building in 1-to-1 scale to the ground, and ask these people that can we really build it, and then they managed to do this. Like there is not one nail, nothing, only bamboo, 100% bamboo. And it's weak architecture. It's like it's a bucket structure, and it's meant to be weak, not meant to be strong. Concrete is strong. This is weak, but it's still so strong that if you go inside, the whole city disappears. You feel like you are inside some cocoon, or inside some animal maybe, or architectural animal, or inside skin, let's say so. So also this is a form of skin-to-skin architecture, but it's also tied to their local knowledge. The people from Guangxi has been using this kind of structures a lot. And here's a stage for the karaoke. Nighttime, they would put inside one construction light and it turns into a disco. And it's nice to compare these like lines, the organic lines of the local knowledge, to the official lines or industrial lines. Here is now some karaoke event is cooking up. And this is important because this they knew from the beginning. Like when we were constructing, they say that we need to pile earth into some of the walls, because they knew that in 2-3 weeks, the creepers and vines, they would grow so fast that the whole thing would become green. And then the microclimate inside would become even better, and it would disappear from the city. And this is essence of local knowledge, to regard nature as co-architect. So like that's the essence. Similar kind of structure called sandworm in Belgium. Also basically just the skin. This is on the beach, like following the dunes. And the material is willow, like a tree, what normally grows in wetland areas. I'm sure you have it in Ukraine as well. So we were collecting this willow, it's for free. And like then construct this. It's 45 meters long, 12 meters high and 12 meters wide. It's dug 2 meters into the sand. And it's following this architecture of the dunes. We were measuring the dunes and their movement and then use that form and measurements for this sandworm on the beach. Yeah, but just like the beach, this don't have any function. You use it as you want. We work maybe 4 weeks, maybe 6 weeks together with some guys and like, again, no nails, nothing, just willow, 100%. Just one movement, slowly, slowly. And then this skin is coming. And like in the end, when it is done, it becomes structural. The mouth. Now we are entering inside. So the light condition also with this kind of bucket structure or insect architecture is like unpredictably beautiful. Some kids, masters, and here is like how it is operating together with the sand. So it becomes like a spaceship in a way. But here it is like a connection, or how because architecture can work in a way that it becomes a mediator between human nature and nature. That architecture is the thing that connects. And then that's interesting. But also it can be the thing that separates, and that's not interesting. Some grandmothers, the round opening in the roof is for the full moon. The local people call this the Willow Cathedral. Opening towards the sea. This is our kind of office that time. And then a little bit more about ruins. So here is a ruin that we designed in jungle in Taiwan. It's called Ultra Ruin. So there was already a red brick farmhouse, ruin of a red brick farmhouse that we find in the jungle. Then we clean a little bit the surroundings and then start growing new wooden architecture from the ruins. So here is the building in the jungle. We are entering through the bushes and through the trees. You come to the site. You find this like a red brick ruin of the farmhouse is there. And then this new wooden architecture is growing from it. And like this is the table. This is the first thing that we build. First we build a table so that we can talk with this client and what do they really need. And then step by step start growing these things that they need. So this kind of design methodology is called open form. So this is open form architecture. Some fireplace looking towards the valley from the table, and jungle is just next to you, like immediately there. Very simple details, mainly use different species of tropical wood, stone, and little bit of bronze as a metal. These are the details. Interior courtyard. A bathtub for their mother. And enjoy the bath and have some fire there. Some details. But as you see, this is totally open. Like some spaces are covered, some spaces don't let rain in, but many of them are very open. Some interior spaces for sleeping. And we work with some like a temple builders. They were very careful with wood and they understood the different species of tropical wood. Interior courtyard with the moon And well, nature is breaking in, and that's supposed to be so. So it is like constantly ruining this architecture. It's growing in, and that's fine. And then the roofs are all terraces. So they're doing quite a bit of exercise and quite a bit of meditation. So can move from tree to tree, also from roof to roof, but also the trees are growing in. So it's a different terraces, including the farming terraces, which are connected into this open form composition kitchen. And then this kind of like a big steps that are connecting the different levels, the roof terraces to the central courtyard and down to the old farming terraces, so that this very highly three-dimensional setting can be used also functionally. And here nature is growing in, so it's more or less left unfinished from human point of view. But nature is growing in and making it more complete. And of course it is changing all the time. But from the beginning, nature is regarded as the co-architect. Sauna, and under the tower there's a pool. We are collecting some water from the jungle, so you can have sauna and then wash yourself in the pool. Sauna is heating up. Yeah. And then the pool. But also the tower is very meditative space with the water. The vertical axis. Then very different again. So like this is the borealis forest, like the northern forest where Finland is. Like we are all forest. Ukraine has a lot of forest too, especially like you in west and north. But it's a little bit different. You are like Central European, we are up north. So the things what we mainly use here for industrial use is spruce and pine. I'm sure you have the same species as well. But the thing what I'm talking here now is engineered wood. This is cross-laminated timber. So you can actually make big slabs of wood, which are, let's say, 12 meters long, 3.5 meters wide, 60 millimeter to 400 millimeters thick, and very strong. Easily can compare with concrete, reinforced concrete. But it's all natural material. Then we use CNC machines to cut the windows and joints and so on. So it's effective process if you want. And then you get these two-dimensional elements that can be either sent to the construction site, or then you make out of these spatial elements, like big boxes in factory conditions, and send them. Basically, this kind of wood don't burn. It's so like airtight, and like you can compare it to the logs. It will charcoal on the surface, turn black, but then this charcoal will protect the wood inside. So fire safety is very high with this. Same goes for earthquake performance. And because it is massive wood, so it has this insulation values, just as any wood. But if like, let's say, conditions of Ukraine, if you have this kind of CLT wall, which is 20 centimeters thick, so then no added insulation is needed, just wood. So this is what we normally do with CLT in Finland. We just normal apartment buildings, like, but these are all like done in factory conditions. You do spatial elements like boxes and put whatever kitchens inside, and then take it to the construction site and take up the apartment buildings very fast, 70% faster than with concrete. So this is a very fast way of construction, and you can prefabricate those things like elements. Like here you see it's like whatever apartment house, but those boxes, that are going around the central staircase, they are all prefabricated with everything inside, kitchens, toilets, everything. Then take to the construction site and very fast construction. Then again, like in community scale, same material, but here is a mixture of elderly people, old people, caretaker home with a kindergarten. So here like four units of old people and 1 unit for kindergarten, and they are like mixed. The kindergarten children, they are even using the saunas of the old people. But then they have like a common kitchen. They are making food together, baking together, singing together, exercising together, and so on. Children and old people, they mix very, very well. But usually like this kind of like institution is very separated and that becomes boring. But it's good to mix. And we would like to mix more. But here is like their fireplace, so they come outside and grill some sausages and talk to each other, and it's nice to watch. And especially for the old people, like they can see the children running around and like following their daily activities and so on. So it's like a gift for them. Here you see like the rooms of the elderly people that are surrounding the building. Then you have some common spaces, and in the center is the kindergarten, like a heart of the collective building. Then a very different scale of CLT, cross-laminated timber, and very different kind of an apartment building. This is a micro apartment building. So this is now 3 floors high. We have done this in Helsinki and England and Belgium. But anyhow, these are all prefabricated, those boxes. And you can put different programs inside, say accommodation or hotel or yoga or sauna or whatever. Then take the boxes to the place and stack them on top of each other. It takes 2.5 hours to make the whole building. And there is no foundation at all. So it's just standing there. It's like a, so, and the footprint is like a 1 car parking spot, 2.5 meters times 5 meters. So basically wherever you can park a car, I can build this house. And it's very, very, very fast. Would be good for students, maybe other kind of people too. And you can definitely make very different kind of combinations, like what kind of floors combining. Or if you really want to have the car, so have it then, and build it on top of that. But yeah, these are all prefabricated again. Then same material, cross-laminated timber, prefabrication, but very different client. So the client is United Nations Population Fund, UNFPA, which takes care of pregnant women and young children, also delivering babies. That's their business. So UN has this very strong SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, that are behind like their like climate action and so forth. The site is in Zaatari refugee camp in Jordan. And like this is the world's largest refugee camp at the moment, around 100,000 Syrian refugees. And the task for us is to develop for UNFPA a maternity clinic to deliver babies. And this must be prefabricated in Finland and send it to them. So UNFPA is like taking care of 500 refugee camps. Zaatari is one, but like 500 refugee camps, 500 maternity and child health hospitals, and so on. 6.6 million people living in them. And this is a very, very simple structure now. In Zaatari, this will be bigger, but this is like the original kind of concept, what they need. So you have 2 sea containers, and the whole hospital must fit into 2 containers. So all the parts of CLT, solar panels, whatever, they come out of the two containers. So the containers are there, and then it's the CLT architecture that is connected to them. Then you put like a roofing beams and the roof and the solar panels and so on. And then you get the very, very simple, basic like structure, which can be used for hospital or kindergarten or orphanage or school. But in this case, for UNFPA, it is for delivering babies. But yeah, all this can be prefabricated and shipped to wherever in the world, opened up and then like a use for different functions. So that's good with this kind of a material, CLT, cross-laminated timber, because it's 5 times lighter than concrete. You cannot really shoot concrete or put it into an Antonov and fly it into Haiti. But with CLT you can. You can put the whole Antonov full of wood and fly. But here it goes to containers and is shipped to the site. This is what we do normally with CLT. Like in Finland, we are stepping step by step away from concrete. Like hopefully quite soon we are not using concrete at all anymore. So this kind of engineered wood is like replacing concrete. This is a normal housing block, maybe 20,000 square meters, 8 floors high, but it's all wood. Simple structures. But yeah, of course, there's a lot to build also in Ukraine. I know that. So this is just like one material possibility. There is a community, again, this 20,000 square meter. Or then if you want to build bigger. So this is in Norway, Bergen. We just win, not just, but anyhow, we win a competition for a new part of a city, like a totally new city district, 420,000 square meters and all wood. So like it will be built there. It will take ages, of course, but yeah, but it's all wood. There used to be a harbor. This is the harbor area called Docken. So the harbor goes away, new urbanism comes in, but it's all wood. So it's totally a different generation. Maybe a little bit closer to the third generation city. But yeah, for sure, what comes to rebuilding challenges in your country, you must consider the sustainability issues as well, and this is one option. Norway. And then again, same material, but mixing with other materials, so hybrid. So here too, the primary structure is CLT, the cross-laminated timber, but the secondary structures can be whatever. So this is something what we refer to as a high-tech slum. It is like learning a lot from this treasure hill, which I showed in the beginning, like this illegal settlement. In here, the spatial module is 6 times 6 times 6 meter, CLT with wooden joints. And then when you have a lot of sticks, you can like build high and you can build wide. So it can start growing and it become a community or grow even more and become a part of a city. In Taipei, this is Taipei in Taiwan, so we are doing this in an island for 15 to 25,000 people. But yeah, you get this like very, very simple structure. All this can be, the sticks can be brought to you with shipping containers, and then they are there. But this is the primary structure, and we stop there. Then the secondary structures, then they can be basically like whatever, because the primary structure takes care of the structural issues. So it can be recycled concrete, it can be green concrete, it can be bricks, mud, and so forth. This is maybe how it looks in Taipei. Of course, this would look very different in Ukraine. But the primary structure can be the same. In Taipei, we are taking the water from a polluted river. So we are using environmental technology inside the primary structure, take away the heavy metals and then pump it to the roof where you have pieces of jungle for roof cleansing and oxygenizing. Then by gravity, take it to farms, infrastructure, housing. So try to think of this organic machine. Like Treasure Hill, the illegal settlement, it was an organic machine. And the city, the third generation city, should become an organic machine. But also in this community scale, try to think the same. In Taipei, maybe looks like this, but inside is this very, very simple structure, a form that can accommodate the mess. This would look very different in Ukraine, but still the primary structure inside may be the same. In Taipei, it's flooded, so the first 6 meters is empty. When the river is flooding, it can flood. And then when this structure gets enough momentum, so then the black thing in the middle, that's the wall, the city wall. So then it grows around it and connects the mechanical city with the river nature. So we are thinking it as some kind of like a positive cancer. It starts from this island and then it starts growing to the city and eventually starts like tuning the city towards the third generation city, high-tech slum. But it needs people. And yeah, this is it, like one of the modules, 6x6x6 meters. Of course, very fast to construct. You can have 1 floor, 2 floors, 1.5 floors, or leave it empty. Some structures in Taipei. And then another like a thing, what it can do is like we can actually build on top of industrial buildings. So this is the Helsinki shipyard, where they want this to be on top of it. It's like a new part of a city, but it's actually on top of a functioning shipyard. And like thinking of places like, let's say, Kharkiv, which is like 30% industry from Soviet Union. So this can be easily built on top of that if needed. And then we can use the recycled concrete, recycled bricks for the secondary structures. Okay, thank you, this is it.
Thank you, Marco. I think we can go to the questions. Maybe I switch between Ukrainian and English. Будь ласка, шановні студенти, якщо в когось є якісь запитання, прошу задавати. Була дуже насичена така презентація. Я не архітектор, але, можливо, хтось з викладачів може направляти студентів. Якої теми це стосується?
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes.
So, how much did your vision change through all the years of your practice? From 2000, I checked your Wikipedia. So, you have pretty, like the Sandworm is 2013 and other works 2000s. And what is your vision now?
So like how, do you mean how the thinking have been changing? Or?
The thinking, what you want to build and just in this...
I see. No, I think it's, for me it is so that I have been like following some kind of, like let's say intuition, because I grew up when I was a child, so I grew up in Lapland, in the very Arctic part of Finland, in the very, very north. I grew up in a place which is definitely not a city, not even a village. We only have one street and some houses. And this place where I grow up is a mixed. So you have two kind of people. You have village people, the Finns like me, And then you have nomad people, the Same people, who are going with reindeers. And I grow up with this kind of thing. And this been very powerful for me because that's my childhood memory. And also like because I never really understood city. And I never liked city because I come from this kind of place. So then I went, but I end up working with cities, and I end up working with issues. I even work with Tokyo. So like a very, very different places compared to where I come from. But like when I work with these urban situations or crisis situations, I feel that I'm always like working with nature. So that's like my partner. And that doesn't change. So the works can be very different. They can be environmental art installations like in the beginning, or they can be like with communities like with this Treasure Hill, or they can even be very futuristic. But still, nature is there like all the time. That's like that's my boss.
Where do you live now?
I live in a forest 1 hour away from Helsinki in South Finland.
And how often do you visit Japan or Taiwan, Taipei?
Depends, because like sometimes when we have like active projects on there, so then I need to visit maybe every second month. But sometimes the active projects can be in United States, for example. So then I'm going there, and hopefully we get some active projects in Ukraine. So then I start going there.
Hi,
my name is Mariana. What is your advice? What advice would you give for students who like working for in field of architecture?
I think this is an impossible question. It's a good question, and I'm glad you asked it. But I think it's like it's so many different kinds of students, and it should be so. I think that's a richness of architecture. It's like with architecture we can celebrate our different minds and our different souls, and architecture is so huge. And but also like so that's like the community of students should be very diverse, and I hope that you will never become like only one set of students. So you should be different, very diverse, and just like explore. But yeah, in some sense, like for me, like what I try to remember is that architecture is an art of.
Так, ну я так розумію, проблеми з інтернетом. Скоріше за все, що це в нашого лектора виникли проблеми, що його викинуло. Ну, сподіваюся, вам сподобалася ця лекція, була надихаюча. Можливо, не всі змогли отримати свої відповіді на питання. Дякую вам за присутність. Зараз передаю слово Мирославі Олегівні.